The greatest trick darkness ever pulled was to call itself harmless. Welcome to Echoes of the Almighty, where we peel back the curtain on the shadows lurking beneath stories that shaped our childhoods. Stories that seem innocent, but carry whispers of darkness, deception, and brokenness that can scar the soul. We are made in the image of God. Genesis 1:27 says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them." Our minds, our souls, our very beings reflect the Creator's design, made for light, for truth, for creativity, and for life itself. Yet the stories we feed our children often twist that image, warping hearts and minds towards fear, confusion, and darkness. Because this world is fallen, corrupt by sin, Romans 3:23 says it plainly, "For all have sinned, and all fall short of the glory of God." For thousands of years, mankind has walked under a veil of brokenness, deception, and spiritual warfare. And that war, it rages for our very souls. Ephesians 6:12 warns us, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers of this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in heavenly places." This battle isn't fought in headlines or on battlefields. It's fought in our hearts, in our minds, and in the stories whispered to our children while they sleep. Let's begin with the movie Coraline, a seemingly whimsical tale about a curious girl who finds a hidden world, but this other world is actually a prison. And the other mother, a deceiver cloaked in warmth and love, but in truth, a spiritual predator. She wants to consume Coraline's soul, to trap her forever in a false paradise. And this is no innocent fantasy. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us this battle is spiritual. The other mother is the embodiment of a satanic deception, a false comfort of sin, something that looks sweet but ultimately destroys. Proverbs 5:3-5 warns us, "For the lips of a forbidden woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword." The emotional captivity of Coraline mirrors the spiritual bondage children can fall into through such stories. A false light draws them in, but it's darkness. John 8:12, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but he will have the light of life." We must guard our children's minds against seductive spiritual deception. Next up is The Witches. This movie brings that danger closer to home. Evil hiding behind human faces, a grim reminder of Satan's disguise. 2 Corinthians 11:14, "And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light." In this story, the witches plan to annihilate children, a chilling symbol of spiritual enemies' hatred for the innocent. It breeds fear, mistrust, paranoia, emotional wounds that can fester for a lifetime. 1 Peter 5:8 warns us, be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. This is a call for vigilance. Watership Down is another movie that reveals the brokenness and violence with creation itself, the pain inflicting even the natural world. Romans 8:22. For we know the whole creation has been groaning together in the pains of childbirth until now. When children are exposed to trauma, even through stories, it plants a subconscious fear, anxiety about a dangerous, hostile world. Yet, there is hope. Revelation 21:4 promises, we will wipe away every tear from their eye, and the death shall be no more, neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore. That is the hope we must cling to. Ernest Scared Stupid blurs the line between good and evil. It sends mixed messages to impressionable minds. Hebrews 5:14 calls us to maturity. Solid food is for the mature, who by consent have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil. But this story confuses morality with nonsense, and it makes it harder for children to learn right from wrong. Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he or she should go, and when he or she is old, he or she will not depart from it. But how can we do this when the stories they absorb distort the very path? The Nightmare Before Christmas, a children's film draped in gothic horror, skeletons, decay, death, and the villain, Oogie Boogie, a grotesque image of corruption beneath a mask. 1 Corinthians 15:33 warns, do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good morals. What are we teaching when we let our children absorb these dark images? When the line between playful and sinister is blurred? And as the years passed, the darkness deepened. Shows like Wonder Showzen flood screens with chaotic satire, twisted humor, normalizing madness, moral collapse. Video games like Resident Evil glorify violence, despair, and desensitize millions to human suffering and death. This isn't entertainment. It's a slow spiritual poison, feeding a mental health crisis with rot. Psalms 34:18 offers a balm. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. But healing requires more than comfort. It requires rejecting the darkness we consume. The boiling point is here. Romans 8:22 reminds us the whole creation groans together in the pains of childbirth. But Romans 8:21 promises the creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay. And Revelation 21:4 assures us he will wipe away every tear from their eye, and death shall be no more. And in John 1:5, the eternal truth shines, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Jesus Christ is the light we must choose, the only source of healing, the only source of peace, the only restoration. Guard your minds, guard your children's minds. The enemy prowls, seeking to steal, kill, and destroy. But greater is he who is in us than he who is in the world. Stay in the light. This was Echoes of the Almighty. The shadows know your name, but the light was already called you his. Until next time, guard your gates, feed your faith, and stay in the light.